Hello, you awesome friends, and welcome to our last webinar for 2016. This one is being hosted on Monday, the 19th of December, 2016, and it is currently 7 p.m. in Sydney. It's an absolute pleasure having you here, and tonight we're going to talk about a topic that's very close to my heart, profitable content marketing and blogging. And the title is quite simple, putting out ideas that sell forever, and that's really what we're going to be talking tonight. Now, in this live webinar, you might be on the line right now, in which case, please ask me questions, or you might be listening to this recording in my awesome marketing vault. Either way, I'm totally here to help. Now, what we're going to cover tonight is some powerful content, and this is the power, content, and blogging. This is the power of it all, and this is what it means. Great content is online forever, providing to the market that you know what you're doing and proving it. And also as well, it is true thought leadership. And what it does is that positions you as a key choice. Now, we hear a lot about content, we hear a lot about creating content and what it means, but I'll tell you what it means in very simple terms. Creating content is basically the proof that you're wonderful, the proof that you're awesome. And also, it's a great way of giving information to your audience. Now, the thing that's really interesting is that, knock the microphone. We're not meant to do that. My apologies. What is very important when it comes to content and all that great stuff. It is absolutely critical that when we do content, we create content that sells. We create content that positions us as a complete leader so people get really into whatever we're doing. Now, going from the top level, it is my passion to help you tonight. I want to help you get more profitable, high-value clients. I want to help you increase your revenue, and I want to help you create more time for what you love and your family. All of it is very important. This is what I'm all about. And of course, I am here to help you. By the way, if you want a copy of this presentation, or you need a copy of the recording, just ask me after it's live. Now, for those that don't know me and those that do know me, my name is Edward Zia, and I'm a marketing mentor, and I've generated over $100 million Australian for my clients over the years. I've worked with thousands of business owners. I have a postgraduate in marketing from Monash University, also a certified practicing marketer. I'm a disciplined ex-military/federal agent, and the actual bit I want to really focus on is I'm very well connected, and every week, some weeks I'll go to 5 events in a week. So I'm forever going to new events, meeting new people, and going to some of the top events in town to learn the latest of business thinking and marketing strategies for success. It is very important actually, because whenever I do these live webinars and these recordings, I'm using my latest thinking at the time. So again, if you want a copy of the recording, it's there to help you. The other point to get out there as well, my friends, is that I am a certified practicing marketer of the Australian Marketing Institute. This information I'm giving you here is of general educational advice only. If you have any questions, please ask me. Please don't watch it and then go do something crazy. By all means, talk to me so we can tailor it to suit you. Now talking content, there are a few key considerations that I want to go through in relation to content. When it comes to us getting new high-value clients and attracting new people to our services, it doesn't happen right away. In fact, it can take actually a little bit of time until people choose to become our customer. And this is the process, and I explain this in a lot of my marketing videos. People start off as interested, they then become fans, some of them will then choose to actually give us money and purchase our services and our products, and then some of them will become advocates, which are basically our best pals. They're customers, but they spread us, they promote us, they love us, and they're there forever. You can say that they're relationship-based clients. Now, the reason I'm going through this is that, especially when we talk content, content is not an immediate marketing strategy, not that any of them are, but in particular, content does not get you results immediately. Usually when you start putting great content out there, it can take 3 to 6 months until it bites. Interestingly for me, when I started blogging, I got my first client after 2 weeks, but I'm not promising that to anyone because it can take different amounts of time depending on what we're doing and depending on our strategy. But I just want to point that out there. It does take time to get a client. It's just something that you want to be mindful of. The other point I want to get across to you, awesome friends, as well, is that in terms of your marketing is making sure you place the customer first. Now, this is from 1955. A friend of mine actually circulated on Facebook, and it's amazing. And there's actually the point at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but I just want to read it out because it's absolutely critical. And if you get a chance, please stop the recording when it comes out and have a good read of these. It's amazing. Now, this is to me what placing the customer first is all about, and I read it out at the bottom. They are a person who brings you their wants. It's your job to handle them profitably to them and yourself. To me, it's very important. It's about us being customer first in a profitable manner. Very, very important because we want our content to hit the right people. The other point I want to make as well is your content is only as good as the quality of what you do and the people who are willing to pay for it. In other words, if you've got, something wrong with your business or your services aren't right, content and marketing can only help you so far. But I will say this though, and this happens to a lot of people, as you get more clients and as you get more experience, you get more runs on the board, especially if you're a service or consultant, the quality of what you do gets better and it just makes things ever easier. And of course, the final one is abundance thinking, something which I'm a massive fan of. And abundance thinking is exactly that. Our business is a reflection of what's going on inside of our head. So abundance thinking 101 is about having a progressive, achievement-oriented mindset. Now, the reason why I bring that up is if you're a glass half empty sort of person, I used to be, I invite you to change that right now, because to become a successful entrepreneur and also as well someone who is progressive, you need to be a glass half full person. And I used to be actually a glass half empty sort of person. I did lots of work on myself and I changed it over a few years. Now, let's talk content. Like all things, let's go back to where content began. And if you think about it, content marketing before the internet, it's actually been going for hundreds of years. We see it forever every time we turn on the television, we open a newspaper, we read a magazine. It's been going on for a long time before the internet. If anything, content marketing has been going on forever. If you think about it, corporates and people have been trying to get their stuff in magazines so it gets seen by the public so people buy their products. That is really, they call it PR in that world. It's really what content marketing is. Now, content marketing is a relatively new term that came out really in the past 5 years. You didn't really hear about content marketing until about 5 years ago. And basically it works like this, and this is some of the logic I want to preface it with. As our world becomes more of an interconnected brain, so to speak, we don't trust what we hear anymore. It just simply doesn't happen. People are forever asking questions. People are forever not believing what they're told. And actually a very interesting point I want to make there is about, this was really proven, was Trump getting elected in America. Trump, whole of Hollywood, the whole of the mass media were busy trashing Trump as much as they can. But people didn't believe the mass media. They saw through it and they voted with their brains, not with what they were being told. Now, the reason I bring that point up is that the Trump getting elected is a great example of how our world has changed. Because I'll tell you what, before the internet or even 10 years ago, people just believe what they hear on TV. Not so much anymore. Now, what I mean by that is, and bring it back to us as business owners and entrepreneurs, great content is about great proof, great value, great ideas, and having great relationships with people that ultimately win. Now, when I say relationships, I don't mean we're necessarily buddy-buddy, but in terms of what we do, people have a great relationship with us. I'll give you an example. Let's say someone's friends with me, but they don't really know me as a marketer. I wouldn't say that's a very healthy relationship from a business point of view, okay? What I'm more getting at is a relationship, I mean, in this context, is someone who has a healthy relationship with what you do as a business. I mean that with that from that point of view. Now, content and blogging, it's absolutely amazing. And in this webinar, we're going to focus on those two sort of issues, okay? We're going to focus on content. We're going to focus on blogging. The other thing I want to do is just want to jump in. Any questions, friends? Please ask. It's great having you here. We've got a great turnout. So if you've got any questions, please ask them. I'm totally here to help you. You can just type them into the box and I'll answer them. Now, power of content and blogging. When it comes down to it, nobody just finds a company or person and makes a serious purchase in the first instance. It doesn't work that way. You know that. I am sure you've never, other than buying a cup of coffee or something minor, I am sure you've never made a serious purchase just on the whim of a moment. I am 100% sure the bigger the purchase, the more research and time you put into it. The same goes for us, okay? The more you charge someone, the more high value the service and the more important it is. I can tell you now, people are going to do their research. And at the end of the day, you can only say so much to them. Ultimately, they're going to draw their own opinion. And obviously, it happens to me all the time. I usually get it. These days, I get about 4 to 5 new clients a month. It's fantastic. And what actually happens in that process is that people very, very rarely don't go through everything. They'll go through my blog, my website. They'll tear through everything and leave no stone unturned. And they'll also check out reviews and all that sort of thing. Now, the content we put out there, I'm going to give you examples and talk about some ideas, is ultimately education. It's an educational process that we take people through. Now, in the pictures here, I've got two great people. I've got Natalie Tran, which is from the community channel. She's a long-term YouTube blogger that I've always followed. And, of course, at the bottom right, I've got Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a right-wing gay conservative, and he calls himself a complete troll. Both of them are very powerful bloggers with millions of followers, and it's all part of their business experience, and I encourage you to check it out. Now, talking content marketing, which is, again, a relatively new term. But in simple terms, content marketing is just using content as a means of marketing and selling one's products and services, and there's heaps of different ways of doing it. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on blogging tonight, because that's what we're here for. But the point I want to make here is that there's heaps and heaps of different ways of going about it. We've got article writing, videos, newsletters, books, podcasts, and of course blogging. There's heaps of different strategies. So there are lots of different ways of doing content. I'm just going to talk about a few good ones, which is what I like doing. Now, cranking down the microscope and focusing on blogging. Blogging today is basically a form of journaling, and it's a very powerful marketing strategy. It's great for personalities, branding, topics, and also services. It works just great there. Now, especially if you're a coach, mentor, consultant, you're in property, real estate, you sell ideas, it works incredibly well. They're all top strategies in that regard. Now, marketing with a blog. Feel free when you're at the end, go to my website, excellenceabove.com.au, check out my blog and go through it. You'll see the proof in the pudding, which is right there. Now, what can a blog actually do? And this goes for a blog, but also goes for a lot of content. Blogs are fantastic for boosting your reputation, getting speaking, general exposure, something for people to pass on. Happens a lot, actually. People will share your blogs. And also as well, it's great for continually engaging your audience. So what I mean by that is that you sell to your audience so much. The beauty of a blog is that's forever staying in contact with people. It's forever connecting with them to keep them connected. The other one is also proof of your brilliance. So this is just 6 different points of the actual mechanism of how blogging helps you get sales and leads. So in other words, if someone's, in my case, marketing mentor, entrepreneur, I give a lot of advice about marketing, sales, and entrepreneurship. People read my blog, they follow it, they like it, and eventually they might read something or tweak, and they'll go, that's it, I'm going to make an inquiry and talk about hiring Ed or something to us, awesome marketing bot, whatever the case may be. That's how important it is. The other point is as well, and this goes without saying, and I kind of touched on it, is it positions yourself as an elite. And this is a key point about creating content. When you're creating content that impresses and sells and educates and gets you clients and all that, this is a mindset thing I want to touch on. You are an elite. In other words, you have to fully believe in what you're doing. You have to fully back what you're doing to put out amazing content on a regular basis. Because quite simply, if you don't 100% believe in what you're doing, you're not going to put out very good content. Now, there's a chicken and the egg here. When you first start putting out blogs or doing video blogs or LinkedIn articles or whatever, it's going to be pretty tough at the start. But when you get going, when you get really good at it, that's when you can get incredibly powerful at it. So I just want to make that key point right there, my very awesome friends. The other point is that blogs stay there forever. So when we put out a great blog, it stays there forever in cyberspace for it to be found on Google or wherever the case may be, or on Facebook or whatever. Now, when we talk about some of the commercial outcomes of blogging, this is one of the key points I want to make, is we need great, relevant, and intelligent content. We need to solve their problems. And I just want to give you a few examples of some of the blogs out there before I crank into my own. You can type in blogs, you've got anything to do with dog food, holidays, wealth building, forex trading, Christians finding love, even to my marketing. There's so many different blogs and different aspects and information out there. And what I encourage you to do is spend a bit of time visiting Facebook pages, visit other blogs, and get a feel for how people can do it. And I'll give you some insight on what works for you. What I find this point is very interesting as well. Different ways of going about it. And this is one of the main styles that I like suggesting. You can talk about, one of my old clients, they do computer software. They help install Adobe platforms on, clients' architecture. Now, what's interesting is that they'll do product reviews, they'll talk about services, they'll talk about technologies. You can do more of a diary blog, which is a format of what I'm doing, as I document my thoughts and my lessons and realizations. You can review things. You can be quite polarized in your blogging and writing. You can talk about pretty crazy stuff out there that tends to work. Now, what are the elements of a good blog? They're original, authentic. They give information that helps people solve clients, and it goes deeper than competitors, and it's updated regularly. Now, I personally blog every day, which is a very, 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 arduous sort of schedule, but sometimes you can just simply blog once a week, and this is what I recommend to a lot of clients. So if you're on Facebook, I usually recommend a video or two a day. Works very well, depending on your strategy, and a blog once a week. It works just great. I got a great question from Wayne Wanders. Hello, Wayne. Great having you here. What is a fishbone? A fishbone is a very good question. A fishbone can mean several things in internet marketing. One example of it is that a fishbone is that when people go to your website, you have a little, almost a fishbone-ish sort of cloud, which has all the search terms and that off it. So as you write blogs, it automatically indexes it, and sort of collects the main words. It also can even sort by the topics you assign to a blog. So it appears in what appears to be a fishbone. So people can go there and click on it. That's one definition of fishbone. There's heaps of different definitions of it. Feel free to give a bit more information, Wayne, if you want me to, if that isn't the answer you're after. But it does mean several things in online marketing. Now, great blog is a great article stash. And interestingly enough, I usually suggest as well you put the blog on your website, because so a lot of people, for whatever reason, actually I know the reason, WordPress.com, it's really good. They'll create their own blog that sits separately to their website. Put the blog on your website. And the reason why you want the blog in your website is that you want people to go to your website. It's your shopping mall and people see it. Now, this is a great example of a blog. Actually, and I left some of my older blogs in here for some time ago. There's a great article written about my awesome friend Gillian Bullock, who sent me a great hamper for Christmas. Thank you. I got to call her up and thank her. Now, what's interesting about this is that I actually wrote a blog about some of the insights I learned from her and how brilliant she is. And I write it in a sort of diary format. And I actually recommend this for a lot of people. The diary format of writing a blog is very good. So the way I do it is that depending on what's going through my mind or what I've learned that week, what I'll actually do is I'll write a blog telling my story about what I'm learning and what I'm finding. Very, very common blog format, actually, be it written blogs or video blogs or whatever. A lot of people blog in that discussion format. Some people blog in the interview format. There's a lot of different ways of going about it. I just want to open your mind to that. I want to touch very quickly on video blogging as well. Again, if you want to see some great examples of video blogging, I encourage you to check out several things that are really good. Check out my Facebook page, Awesome Marketing with Edward Zia. You'll see a lot of my blog articles and my blog videos and that on there. And also check out on YouTube as well. Now, I want to explain Facebook and YouTube are quite different in this regard. They're the two main video blogging platforms that people use. And basically, in that case, they just put out videos all the time. You've got on YouTube, you've got heaps of people. In fact, YouTube video started years before Facebook video. And that's how a lot of video blogging was actually how a lot of YouTube stars built themselves as 6- and 7-figure businesses. YouTube is quite a different platform. Usually the videos go from minutes to 10 minutes to 60 minutes. But when we're talking Facebook, you can just go for a minute or so. Facebook Live, you might just go for 10 minutes. So generally speaking, people use Facebook very differently to YouTube. Facebook, people more log on, see what's going on. So a video sort of interrupts their surfing habit, so you go a bit quicker. But with YouTube, people intentionally search for stuff. Now, I'm not saying you can't do long videos on Facebook. They're just different platforms. It's good to know that. Now, it's great to check out a lot of people. So depending on what you're doing, check out what other people are doing, get some ideas. Now, I've got a screenshot of Millennial Millie, who is a conservative, right-wing young millennial who's pro-Trump and all that. She's quite funny, and I quite enjoy her stuff. You've also got me as a marketing guy talking like that sort of thing. Also, as well, you've got heaps of different things. If you go back earlier to the post I put up about, Natalie Tran and Milo Yiannopoulos. They both have their own unique styles. And, of course, this is actually a screenshot from Sargon of Akkad, who's another one that I follow. Now, what's very important is that when you're putting out content, you sort of want to know where it's going. So in my case, I'm putting out content to do with marketing, entrepreneurship, and that sort of thing. And the goal is people are on my website. And if they're on my website and they're reading about marketing, and it's something quite to note, actually. You got to be very careful that you stick to content that's mostly suited to what you're doing. So, for example, let's say I started writing, I've done this before. Let's say I go hardcore political and I start writing heaps of political blogs and that sort of thing. They're interesting and they're fun, but they won't necessarily bring me any clients, because if someone's on my website reading about politics, they're not there to learn about marketing. So it's very important that you actually write about what you're doing. So in my case, I write about marketing, business, entrepreneurship, that sort of thing. It works just great. It's just something to keep in mind, my very awesome friends. Make sure you write content that's actually related to what you're doing. You will notice all those bigwigs, they have it sorted out commercially. They know what they're writing about and they know what it leads to product-wise. Now, when you first start writing your blogs, it can be quite difficult. Now, in terms of technical functionality, okay, let's say you've got a blog, you've got a website, but you've got no blog functionality in there. Get your web person to do it. It's the best way. If you need a hand, I can introduce you to my colleague Martha, who's very good. You might be on WordPress, you might already have a blog, but if you don't, it's great to get your web person to set up that functionality. We all use WordPress, which works just great. So we just need to set up that functionality first. Now, assuming everything's technically set up, when you first start writing, your first blogs will take a long time and they won't be very good. But don't worry. Have a calendar, stick to it, stay consistent, and really play that. So what I suggest to a lot of people when they're starting out is just blog once a week. It's a great place to start. It's a great way to build up your experience. And as you do more and more of it, you'll get better and better at it. So it's just something to keep in mind. You'll look at some of my blogs. If you go back even 6 months ago, my quality of blogs has improved dramatically, and it was continually working on it. So I invite you to do this. Take a moment, ask any questions I'm right here, but think about exactly the sort of content that you blog about. What's your business? What do you do? What are some of the issues you can talk about? What are people actually going through? Now, I invite you after this, if it's a recording, please hit pause, or after this live webinar, go visit my blog. You'll see what I write about. This is just a screenshot from my blog, and I've got 3 articles here which are from last month. One was written about the importance of meetings, one was written about the importance of hitting events all the time, and one was actually written about the joy of publishing your first blog post. So I'm actually speaking about a few different issues and some of the things that I've gone through and I've encountered. Something really good and something I really invite you to check out. It's quite important. Now, when it comes to writing what's called a sticky blog, and what I mean by a sticky blog is a blog that people don't look at and go, this is annoying, and just leave. They actually want to stay there and look at it. And I'll give you just a few points. It's different, it's natural, it's authentic. You have a clear style as well. It's very important to know your style. Like, are you a technical blogger? You're an educational blogger? You're more of an inspirational type blogger? It's really good to think it through from all those different viewpoints and get it on there. So something to keep in mind. Number 3 as well is use a powerful and sexy headline. When I say sexy, I don't mean that in a sexual sense. I mean that in terms of, compelling, this is awesome and grabbing attention. The other one is tell a story. People love stories, and it works an absolute treat. Reference your product at the end. It is very good to do that. Reference your product as much as possible and get that information through. Now, you got to be careful though. You don't want to oversell things too much because it just gets a bit annoying and boring. Also as well, give value, ideas, wrap it up with a tight conclusion. And what you can do as well, you can have a section about the author at the end. Also as well, I like doing this as beyond blogging. Make sure you provide somewhere for people to join your mailing list. So you can just have an opt-in form which integrates to MailChimp, works a treat. And also link to other content on your blog. They're all important strategies. Here's just a few examples. This is from Martha, who I referenced earlier. Great example of a blog. This is more, even though she's a web person, she does talk a lot about entrepreneurship and what she learns, which I think is great. Here is one from her friends Mark Kite. This is more actually talking about authority building content. And here is actually a video I did today, right in the morning. It went incredibly well. It's been seen by 321 people, this actual post. And it was me just talking through, giving people some encouragement, sharing some ideas, and directing them to my website to learn more. Here as well is an interesting one. This is through my Facebook page. And this is me actually sharing a client's newsletter. Now, why would I share a client's newsletter? Well, A, I wrote the thing, so it helps. But B, it makes the client look good. It makes me look good. And I'm just using as a great marketing example to inspire people. So I just want to share that insight with you. There's so many different ways that you can use your Facebook page and you can use your blog. Now, what's interesting as well is that, so I've jumped around different platforms because content doesn't exist by itself. Content only exists in the context of a platform. In other words, if I just write content in a Word document and save it on my PC, it's useless. It has to be out there. It has to be out there on my blog. It has to be shared through LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever the case may be to hit. Now, another point that I just only want to touch on, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm talking more at a higher level, is email marketing. Now, if you're on my database, you'll see my regular emails, and emails are really, really, really important, and they work incredibly well. Now, what it is that your email database is very important. And the more you build up your email database, the better. And there's a reason for that, my very awesome friends, because an email database is of important value to you. So let's say you're sending out an email once a week, once a fortnight, once a month, depending on your strategy. Through regular emails, that's how you share your content with people. Now, if you look at the screen very carefully, you notice that on my emails, the top one is always the blog of the week. Why would I send that to people? The simple answer I would send that to people is because if they get my newsletter and go, oh, wow, there's Edward's blog of the week. They click on it, they'll go straight to my blog. They're on my website. Awesome. I'm also advertising, this is where I actually advertise this live webinar that you're listening to. And also as well, you notice that that black tile on there is me advertising my actual online product. And then I have a bit more information. The point is that content is important. Now, what you'll notice in here as well is when you see the content of this actual newsletter, the first tile is a blog, the second tile is a webinar, the third tile is a product, the fourth tile is a blog, and the fifth tile is actually not my organisation. It's actually New South Wales Business Chamber. So when it comes to content, it doesn't just have to be about you. You can promote your allies. They can promote you in turn. So there are a few of the different ideas that I really want to touch on. Here's an example as well. I've been relatively Facebook-centric. You can also share it through LinkedIn as well. You can even blog straight into LinkedIn using the Pulse platform. So there's heaps of different ways you can actually go about it. I just want to highlight that with you. Now, apply it to yourself. It is very important. And I'm just going to run through a few things. Ultimately, you have to blog about something that you're passionate about. Otherwise, it won't stick. Now, I'm passionate about marketing entrepreneurship. I can write about that for 200 years, and I certainly do. So write about something that you love. But of course, it can't just be what you love. It has to be commercially related. So I'm a marketing mentor. So me blogging about marketing is a very intelligent move. People read about it. Oh my God, Ed knows what he's doing. This is awesome. And then they become clients. That's how it works. You might be, let's say, a wealth mentor. You might run networking groups. You might be an accountant. You might be in a property. Whatever the case may be, the idea is putting out really good, valuable information to really connect with people. The other quick point I want to make as well is you got to make your blog compelling. You got to write in such a way that works really well. And I encourage you to really study all the different options out there. And it works incredibly well because it's just good for everyone. You got to deliver and share the content too. Now, I did speak about this. This is a bit of another discussion. Have your blog on your website. It works just well because we see your actual website as a shopping mall. And then, of course, it's promoting it. How do you get it out there? You put it in your newsletter. You can post it on social media. You can even use Facebook Live. You can use LinkedIn. You've got heaps of different platforms for getting your information out there. You might be more of a photo person. You might even use a bit of Instagram if you're into photos and that suits your market. Ultimately, you've got to produce great content and then you share it. So, for example, if I do a blog, I share it, I multi-purpose it. It might go on my newsletter if it's any good. It goes through LinkedIn. It goes through Facebook. It works just great. We're coming towards the end, so please ask me any questions. Now is the time to enter them. Please start entering them now as I wind things up. Now, honourable mentions. Really think through the objectives. What are you going to write about and how does it fit in? Again, marketer. Write about marketing. Write about what you do. Give useful information, solve problems. Again, one of my clients is an awesome national plumbing company. Very lucky to have them. They're great people. What am I suggesting they write about? Writing about plumbing issues, hot water services, the different materials out there. Basically, all the questions that people ask is something you want people to totally work on. Decide on your frequency and your sharing as well. How often are you going to create content and how does it work? Find your style. Be a bit controversial, be a bit edgy, but of course don't get your Facebook account shut down. When I say write to a calendar, I do a blog every day. The actual blog that goes out tonight, which hasn't gone out yet, will actually be this recording. Be excellent, not perfect. Start anyway and just make it compelling. And also at the end, it's always good to mention your product on the next step. Works incredibly well. Now, please get your questions through as I wind things up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and just give a few comments, and then I'm just going to go through the end scene and talk about how I can help you if not already. So let's go back to the start, shall we? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip over things and just give some additional points that come to me. Content marketing is amazing. It's relatively new, but a great strategy. It's very different, though, in terms of how we share it. Get into it. Create great content that sells and inspires people. Visit YouTube, check out Facebook, look at a few great examples, check out what I have. There are different ways of going about it that works all just great. Really work out the context of what you're doing and how you wish to go about it. Position yourself as an elite. Go really hard in that direction. Look at the different types of blogs out there and how that works. How about with a great article stash? Look at mine. It's here to help you. It's very, very good. Check out some examples. Got different examples of how I work and how it can help you. And also as well, get started. Get into it and think of the different ways you can do it. Blogging is amazing and it's very powerful. So there you go. This is the main awesome live webinar tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm just going to do a quick wrap up. If you've got any questions, if you're live on the line now, please ask me. Or you can send me an email as well. So in very simple terms, how I can help you create your marketing plan. I can mentor you, motivate you, and inspire you. Also, I can help you get key strategies off the ground, be it Facebook content, LinkedIn, whatever the case may be. I've got my awesome Marketing Vault mentoring program, which is a great way to get started. Also, as well, if you haven't already, I've got some great resources you get into. Please check out my blog. You can join my email database. Also, as well, on the homepage of my website, you can access Module 1 of my awesome Marketing Vault on the house. And also, as well, please follow me on Facebook. You're welcome to add me on Facebook and LinkedIn, Edward Zia. And also, as well, my business page is Awesome Marketing of Edward Zia. And, of course, I love it when people go premium. So feel free to share my stuff on Facebook. It's really great. And, of course, I've got my awesome Marketing Vault, which you can learn about. Again, if you've got any questions, please just ask me. The other thing I want to do as well is just give some great acknowledgements and thanks to some great people. XCOM 2, Spock from Star Trek, Fallout, Vault Boy, Martha, TEDx, ACMA, Donald Trump, Base Body Babes, Millennial Millie, InfoWars, Milo Yiannopoulos, Darren Hinch, 3C Church, a lot of people. I've used a lot of content from pop culture and great people out there. I just want to say a massive thank you. And, of course, wrapping up, thank you from Edward Zia. It's an absolute pleasure having you on tonight's webinar. I absolutely appreciate you having here, and it's great doing this all with you. Now, my awesome friends, just to let you know, here to help, love your work. You guys are absolutely wonderful. Email me, ask me any questions. I'm totally here to help. So thank you. I want to wish you all a fantastic evening. Again, thank you, Wayne, for being the first one in. It's an absolute pleasure. And, of course, enjoy the recording, which will be going out. Stay awesome, friends. Love your work. Talk to you all later, and wishing you a good day and a great evening.